Okay, in the last tutorial we have created a very cool level loader which can load a specification of a level from a text file and then should be able to automatically create the world depending on the definition of the tiles that we have put in the textual specification. So in this tutorial we will actually build the tiles and position them on this and use the level manager to render a level for us, right? So we won't have to do any work in the editor itself. Great. So let's create our very first tile. Let's name it brick tile, and let's position it on in the very beginning, right? So I click now. I want to focus the tile here in the scene window. So I select the brick tile. I hover over this window and I press F to focus on the tile. Now, it's always a good practice to add a sprite as a child object of the game object, so we get more options of how to position the tile around its origin, right? So I have created a new child object and I'll name it sprite. You can do it like I did myself, so I just create a new game object from this menu, or you right click on the tile and then you create empty, right? A new tile on the screen. I don't have the tile yet, so I'm going to search for it online, and I will find it in the sprite resource.com. This is a very cool website that holds a lot of sprites, and I will search for a brick tile. There are many different tiles that I can select from. I have already found one. This is actually the one that I found, so I'm just gonna reuse it, and I have it in my project folder already, right? It is in my sprite folder, so I have downloaded it and then copied it into my project, right? One of the things that I've done is that I have, when I have downloaded this tile, I have used an image editing program and resized it to 100 by 100 pixels, because if you do that, your tile will have exactly 1 meter by 1 meter, right? So if I zoom this in, I can position this exactly at 1 meter by 1 meter, right? So this holds my idea of how the tile should look like, right? So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters. That means I put the six 1 meter tiles. So once again, when I have created the tile, or when I have imported the tile, I made sure that the tile has 100 pixels, right? That was the original tile with 120 pixels. I can just get rid of it. Okay, so the next thing we do, we add a sprite renderer onto the sprite component, and we can add a brick onto the sprite itself, right? I don't know what it says. We'll make sure that it's 1, 1, 1, and then we'll just position this at 0, 0, 0, so that we'll know how it is, right? Now, important thing is, when I click on my positioning thing, I see how my tile is positioned, right? So this is the center of the tile from which the tile will be positioned. Well, that's not kind of what we want, right? We will be positioning our tiles from our layout manager. So this will be the tile number 1, tile number 2, tile number 3, and so on. So we need to position this point to the bottom left corner of the tile. That's why we've used the child sprite. And now we can easily position the child according to its parent just by moving it half a meter to the right and half a meter to the top. So as we see, the coordinate of the child is still in its center, but when we click on the parent tile, on its parent, we see that the coordinate has been maintained, has stayed at 0, 0, 0, and this is where my child is, right? Okay, now what we need to do is to add a collider on our tile, right? What we need is a box collider so that no longer object will pass through this tile. That's perfect. All right. So I think that we have a pretty good tile already. So what we'll do is we'll drag and drop this tile onto into a library of our tiles. Right. So what I'll do, I'll create a new folder called tiles, and I will drag and drop this brick tile into my tile folder. Now I will disable this tile in the game. I will just leave it there for further use, and then I will drag and drop this new prefab that we have created onto every single tile. So let's just assume that every single tile that we meant is a brick tile, right? Just for the test. And now when we run this, not too much surprise, look at that. We now have officially automatically generated the level from the textual specification. Of course, this tile was supposed to be a player, this was supposed to be an enemy, and so on. But we will do that in the videos to come.